Hello and welcome. You are watching News9 Live. I am Krishna Kumar. Who killed Tipu Sultan? That's the raging debate in the southern Indian state of Karnataka, even as elections come close by. Less than 2 months to go for elections in the southern state of Karnataka. And right now there's a big question over claims and counterclaims on who killed Tipu Sultan. Controversy in election-bound Karnataka with Vokkaliga seer Nirmalananda now disagreeing with the BJP's claims that Tipu Sultan was killed by Vokkaliga community chieftains. In a matter of weeks, the state of Karnataka will be going to polls, but the BJP has refused to step back and has quoted controversy around the death of Tipu Sultan. The claim has been backed by BJP leaders, including Vokkaliga leaders C.T. Ravi, the party's National General Secretary, and Ministers Ashwath Narayanan and Gopalayya. But meanwhile, Chief Minister Basavaraj Bommai appears to have distanced himself from the controversy. So while a section of the BJP in Karnataka seems to have coloured the 18th century ruler's legacy in hues that fits its narrative, the Congress party, on the other hand, sees Tipu Sultan as one of the earliest freedom fighters of the country. And to understand this controversy better, joining me on the show is Bhaskar Hegde, editor of TV9 Kannada Digital, and we have Mahesh Chitnis, news editor of News9, joining us, and we'll be discussing why Tipu Sultan remains the sword of contention in Karnataka. Bhaskar Hegde, if I can begin with you, talk to us now. Nirmalananda has contradicted the BJP's claims that it was indeed members of the Vokkaliga community who assassinated Tipu Sultan.
Yeah, Krishna, you're right. It's a very interesting and fascinating development that happened last week in Karnataka. And rarely do we see a seer or pontiff coming into the domain of political narrative and putting a break on politicians and their claims and counterclaims. And surprisingly, after he called one of the BJP ministers and asked him to stop this debate, and BJP, all the leaders, they fell in line and they agreed to stop this debate, at least for the time being.
Right, Mahesh Chitnis, it's interesting that even Vokkaliga leaders within the BJP are supporting this claim.
Yeah, definitely. They were the one who initiated such a debate. To understand, I would just like to take you through how it all started. First, it was the book. It was a book was written called Tipu Sultan. That means Tipu's to breathe. Because the book was launched by none other than Mysore MP Pratap Singha. Later, a stage drama was held. It was again taken to the Karnataka High Court, where the High Court issued a stay order. And later, it was lifted. Since then, this issue has been raging. After that, during Amit Shah's rally in India, it was first T.T. Ravi who raised the issue, saying that Udi Goda and Nande Goda was the one who killed Tipu Sultan, and all the Britishers in the fourth and Mr. War, which the Britishers, which the historians have claimed. So since then, the issue has been raging, and even a movie was about to come up, but it is currently halted by the Nirmalananda.
Right, Mahesh Chitnis, stay with us. Let me take this across to Bhaskar Hegde. Bhaskar Hegde, the Chief Minister of the state, Basavaraj Bommai, is distancing himself from the controversy. So talk to us. What exactly is, why is he doing that?
So it's quite natural, Krishna, as you rightly observed. See, one of the reasons why Mr. Bommai might have distanced himself from this controversy is basically Karnataka is basically mired with very caste controversy and caste politics. And Bommai, being a Lingayat leader, if he's meddling with kind of Vokkaliga sentiment, it may become a kind of counterproductive in the election time. So that could be one of the reasons why I think Bommai might have distanced himself from the entire controversy. But one more thing, Krishna, I want to add here is Bommai generally, he generally distanced himself from controversial statements or these kind of narratives set by BJP leaders, including BJP National General Secretary C.T. Ravi. Many a times in the past, Mr. Bommai has never uttered a word especially about not only about this issue, there are various other issues related to historical issues in Karnataka. Basically, he wanted to keep a kind of distance, arm's distance from this kind of controversies.
Right, so it's clearly an election ploy to keep themselves away. But how do you see this controversy impacting the elections that are slated in less than 2 months' time from now?
I think people might forget it because Congress and JDS wants people to remember this, and they want people to punish BJP based on this particular issue. I doubt BJP may, particularly the people from South Karnataka, mainly Vokkaligas, they take this issue as a kind of pride, and they want to. Congress and JDS wants people to punish BJP on this issue 2 months from now. I think it may not be a big issue in the election, because one of the two reasons, if you see, anything related to caste in the past might not have dominated in the election time, be it Kaveri or be it whatever. There are so many issues which many political parties, they try to influence the voters through such issues. But this Uri Gowda and Nanjay Gowda issue is a very unique issue that BJP picked up. So this, if we give a kind of small background, this originated from a play written by Rangayana director in Mysore. That play has enacted 50 or 51 times already across Karnataka. That raised a controversy, and people went to court and they got a stay, and later, of course, they got the stay cleared. But still, the one interesting issue is there was a Vokkaliga historian, De Javare Gowda, has written a book, and in his book, he mentioned about these two characters, Uri Gowda and Nanjay Gowda, which basically BJP is harping on. But unfortunately, the pontiff has clearly directed the BJP leaders to get more evidence, strong evidence, then only can we discuss this issue. Otherwise, bury this issue here. Otherwise, it will become a big controversial, it will take a communal color in the election. That's the kind of message the pontiff has sent to BJP. Why pontiff has entered the scene, that could be one of the reasons, or the premise is basically the Vokkaligas and the large number of Muslims, they vote for both JDS and Congress in South Karnataka, where BJP is weak. If BJP manages to divide Vokkaligas in this election, the entire narrative of JDS particularly may go haywire. So I think that could be one of the reasons why some of the Vokkaliga leaders, they might have brought pressure on the pontiff to intervene and take a clear stand on this issue.
Right, Mahesh Chitnis, tell us in terms of the weight of the words of the pontiff in question, Nirmalananda. When it comes to the context of what's going to happen in the upcoming elections, how are his words important or not in the state of Karnataka at this point in time?
Yes, definitely. He is revered as a highly respected, influential seer in the Vokkaliga community, and not only Vokkaliga community, but across all the communities in Karnataka. So it was his one word which led to the minister Muni Ratna to immediately say that currently we are stopping the project. But this has not stopped CT Ravi from saying that yeah, we have formed a small team, local team, which is collecting all the evidence, and whatever evidence we have gathered, we have got that there is definitely some kind of proof that Uri Goda and Nanjay Goda killed Tipu Sultan. He also went on to add that they also found a lot of violence during the Tipu Sultan's rule, especially in Srirangapatna. One thing I would like to add here is how this, BJP is trying to allegedly polarize the voters in old Mysore region. Of course, we all know that the 61 seats are at stake here in old Mysore region, and it will be important for the BJP to come forward with the majority. They have to win at least 20 to 30 seats to come with the full majority. I would just like to quote some of the statements made by the BJP leaders, which will help us understand what exactly is BJP is trying to do here. First statement I will quote of BJP State Chief Nalin Kumar Katil on January 2nd. He said in Mangaluru, "Do not discuss issues like road and drainage. It is a question of your children's future. If you have to get rid of love jihad, you need BJP in power." So I just want to remind you that BJP is very strong in coastal Karnataka and is also called Hindutva laboratory. So Katil was here mentioning about love jihad more than any developmental work. And secondly, Katil again made another statement this time in Soraba of Shivamogga, where he said that this election is only about Tipu versus Savarkar. So he had mentioned it long back in February. So I think the agenda was set. Only the BJP leaders, which are tasked for it, are doing the job right now.
Right, Bhaskar, I just want to ask you one particular thing. The JDS says that this kind of a controversy actually stigmatizes the Vokkaliga community, which is also my question. You're talking about a Vokkaliga community, second largest single caste, voter base, a very important community within Karnataka, and now you have the controversy that says that a very important figure from Karnataka is Tipu Sultan, and that the Vokkaliga community will be blamed for killing him. So the JDS feels that this will stigmatize the Vokkaliga community.
Yeah, it's a very interesting thing because generally, when any community heroes or worshipped, they take it in a positive way. But when BJP came out with these two characters, suddenly JDS felt kind of threatened, and they said this would basically, you are desecrating the image of the community, and we don't need this kind of treatment to community. It's a very strange, because here are two characters which BJP thinks have killed Tipu, and basically giving credit to these two, Urigowda and Nanjegowda, whereas JDS leaders, particularly Kumaraswamy, says, and he says it's basically a kind of being disrespectful to Vokkaliga community. See, Vokkaliga community is basically a community which has been doing farming along with several heroic tales. See, if you see, there are quite a few pockets in Mandya district where the folklore has stories of Vokkaligas fighting Tipu's army. But not necessarily these two characters, Urigowda and Nanjegowda. There is no mention of Urigowda and Nanjegowda in the folk tales that replete in Mandya district. So that is one valid point that BJP is missing. Because if you take folklore as a kind of base for this argument, so yes, Vokkaliga communities has fought Tipu, but no doubt. But these two characters, Urigowda and Nanjegowda, are missing from the folk tales. If you take Javaregowda's book also, he has mentioned about these two characters, but he has not given enough details to suggest that how and where and when they fought Tipu and they killed Tipu Sultan. Because whatever the documents we have from the British archives, so quote, I quote unquote, Tipu Sultan's body was found. In that sense, no one knows who killed Tipu, but everyone thinks and more or less agreed by historians that it is the British army has killed, probably with the support of locals, has killed Tipu Sultan. And I think because of this reason, Kumaraswamy might have thought, okay, this might damage his vote calculations in southern part of Karnataka. That's why he was very, very worried, and so he jumped the gun. And of course, he also for 3-4 days, he also harped on the same issue and talking about the same issue across his speeches wherever he went. And then, of course, when the Swamiji came and gave directions, it has come to almost nil now.
Right, Mahesh, the problem is that, whenever the state is ready for elections, controversies keep coming up because you can play narratives, back and forth over it. And in that sense, do you think that Tipu Sultan has now become an issue which is an election issue, whereas otherwise he's a cultural figure in Karnataka, whether it's election or not?
Yeah, I think, yeah, it might, for temporary, definitely there will be debates, discussions, and BJP might try to a little bit gain some kind of image building and some kind of try to attract voters that even we are also a party which have done a lot of works in the Mandya region. So, but in the longer run, I don't think so it will be dragging any further until the BJP produces some kind of evidence which claims that these two Vokkaliga chieftains managed to kill Tipu Sultan. But one interesting thing I would like to point out here is BJP has never made deep inroads into the Vokkaliga heart belt of South Karnataka, Southern Karnataka. So they are trying, desperately trying to do whatever they can so that they can get up to 30, 40 seats, whatever is possible, so that they can gain a majority on their own without giving any room for JDS to make, again, play a kingmaker role in the upcoming assembly elections.
Right, I'm going to take this back to Bhaskar Hegde. Bhaskar Hegde, the Congress party, incidentally, sees Tipu Sultan as one of the earliest freedom fighters of the country. That's a sentiment that's not shared by the BJP. Talk to us in the context of the elections. How important is, how Karnataka views Tipu Sultan when it comes to the final election outcome?
Yeah, it's a good point, Krishna, you raised, because see, if we just go back to 3 or 4 years back, when Siddaramaiah was chief minister, it was Siddaramaiah who made Tipu's birthday as a state celebration. That actually started the controversy across Karnataka, because at that time BJP said very clearly, if we come to power, we would stop there. And when they came to power, they stopped the state celebration of Tipu Jayanti, which they call it as Tipu Jayanti. In fact, why Tipu became a kind of controversial figure, it was thanks to Siddaramaiah and Congress party. They made it a kind of state festival and celebration of Tipu's birthday as a state festival and across Karnataka. So this led to BJP to pick this issue and make it a controversial issue and a communal issue. And after that, if you see the chronology of this entire episode, you can easily trace basically BJP picking this issue every November when the government would start celebrating the Tipu Jayanti, and BJP would come up with one or the other kind of narrative to divide the society, if I may say so.
Right. Tell us in terms of the Congress party, how is the Congress party, viewing all of this back and forth in the Vokkaliga community, Mahesh Chitnis? And also tell us in terms of how does it impact the chances of both the BJP and the Congress party when it comes to the upcoming elections?
BJP from the beginning, when Siddaramaiah started this Tipu Jayanti when he was in power, has been projecting Congress leader Siddaramaiah especially as anti-Hindu and pro-Muslim. They have even termed Siddaramaiah as Siddaramullah Khan. So it had triggered a lot of discussions, debate on it. But Siddaramaiah later came and said that I'm happy, I'm not objecting to what BJP leaders had termed me or given a new name. So since then, BJP is trying to build a narrative that Congress is a party of anti-Hindu and only pro-Muslims. But when it comes to DK Shivkumar has been always silent and tried to be a neutral when it comes to issues like caste, religion, and language. Even during the hijab issue, there was a big deal about Congress stand. One side, Siddaramaiah wanted to take a complete stand in support of Muslims, but DK Shivkumar wanted to stay neutral. Even Siddaramaiah went on made a couple of statements for the Muslim students who were wearing hijab and protesting. Later, DK Shivkumar bought a gag order for him from the High Command. So Congress is a divided house when it comes to dealing with such issues. Of course, in this issue, Congress is DK Shivkumar and Siddaramaiah are united and saying that it's a fabricated claim by the BJP and there is no truth in it. Krishna.
Right. Bhaskar Hegde, if I were to ask you, at this stage, why this entire controversy that's been raging on for a while, and how this could change with the words of the pontiff in question, that's Nirmalananda. How much of this, will it change the picture?
I think this may not have an impact on the polling pattern in Karnataka, particularly in Vokkaliga heartland. Going back to your previous question, that how it may have an impact on the election, is generally Devegowda is considered as a kind of father figure for Vokkaliga. In that sense, if say there are 100 votes in among the Vokkaligas, generally the pundits would agree that 70% of votes would go to JDS, the 20% or 25%, 20% may go to Congress, and another less than 10% may go to BJP. So if any kind of a divide happens among this Vokkaliga community, the first party that would have a major dent and the major loss would be for JDS. The second, of course, collateral damage will also happen on Congress. So BJP, since they have no gain, it's kind of zero. If at all, whatever the gain happens, it's a plus gain for BJP and it's a major loss for JDS and Congress. Therefore, BJP and Congress are very, very cautious with respect to this issue, and they want to undo the damage that happened so far.
Right, Bhaskar Hegde, TV9 Kannada digital editor. Mahesh, the Tipu Sultan issue has been going on for a while, as we've been discussing, and now the thing is that it's been brought back into discussion because of the pontiff, and that's why I'm asking, what is the role this pontiff Nirmalananda is playing when it comes to the upcoming elections? How important is this figure? Because many leaders are going and meeting this seer. This seer is having a political statement to make on the entire Tipu Sultan controversy.
I'd like to just tell that the seer in question, Nirmalananda seer, is an IIT alumnus. So he knows what is in truth, what is going on. He knows what is the politics being played here. So he just tried to avoid any humiliation in the name of religion. So he has made only one statement. If you have, currently there is no evidence, so let's stop it here. If you have any, if you can be able to produce the evidence, let's discuss it further and then take it forward. But until then, stop this. And I think BJP leaders are completely agreed with it, including Moni Ratna, the film producer, and Ashwat Narayan, and C.T. Ravi. All of them have agreed with it, and a team led by C.T. Ravi is trying to find the evidence to prove the claims made by the BJP leaders.
Right. Bhaskar Hegde, I have to ask you this. Talk to us about Tipu Sultan in Karnataka and Karnataka politics. The point is that he's a cultural figure, much revered by many, but clearly something, went off track after Siddaramaiah, the former chief minister, decided to make it a statewide holiday of Tipu Jayanti. Otherwise, there was going to be Tipu's birthday being celebrated either way in Karnataka. It's been happening in Karnataka for many, many years. Do you think something has been, twisted when it comes to the politics around Tipu Sultan in the recent past?
Because Krishna, if you see the narratives in Karnataka, say for instance, Kodavas in Karnataka, they did against Tipu's birthday, Tipu mentioning of Tipu or whatever, because they think Tipu butchered Kodavas, and so not only Kodavas, just across Kerala, there is quite large community, large percentage of people who believe that Tipu has come and butchered many parts of people in Kerala, the present-day Kerala. So likewise, there is a major debate about the history even within Karnataka. So if people from Mandya and Hassan, if they agree with Tipu, whereas people from Kodagu, that is Kodavas, they did against Tipu Sultan. So therefore, the BJP has picked up this issue. So even though this Tipu Sultan issue has not appealed to the South Karnataka, the BJP is expecting that this issue may pick up a kind of traction in North Karnataka and Central Karnataka.
Right, Bhaskar Hegde there joining us. Thank you, Bhaskar Hegde and Mahesh Chittins, for joining us on this discussion. Right now, we have a word coming in from BJP leader of Karnataka, C.T. Ravi. Let's listen in.
ಯಾರು ಸಂಪೂರ್ಣವಾಗಿ ಇತಿಹಾಸವನ್ನು ಅರ್ಥೈಸ್ಕೊಂಡ್ರಲ್ಲ ಅವರು ಮಾತ್ರ ಹಿಂಗೆ ಎಡೆಬಿಡಂಗಿಯಾಗಿ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ನಮಗೆ ಟಿಪ್ಪು ನೆಂಟ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಅವನು ಆಕ್ರಮಣಕಾರ. ಹಿನ್ನೆಲೆ ಏನು? ಈಗ ನಮಗೇನಾಗಿದೆ, ನಮಗೆ ಐತಿಹಾಸಿಕ ಪಾಠವನ್ನು ಹೇಳಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರು ವ್ಯಾಪಾರಕ್ಕೆ ಅಂತ ಬಂದವರು ಮೋಸದಿಂದ ಭಾರತವನ್ನು ವಶಕ್ಕೆ ತಗೊಂಡ್ರು ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಓದಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ಅದೇ ಥರ ಹೈದರಾಲಿ ಮೇಲೆ ನಂಬಿಕೆ ಇಟ್ಟು ಕೂಲಿ ಸೈನಿಕನಾಗಿ ಸೇರಿಸ್ಕೊಂಡವನು.
Right, and with that, we've completely run out of time here. That's BJP leader C.T. Ravi there. After Nirmalananda, seer, the pontiff appealed the BJP to choosing to make changes when it comes to approaching the entire Tipu Sultan issue. I'm afraid we've completely run out of time with that. Thank you so much for watching. This is Krishna Kumar signing off.